Figured out the gradient problem. The way that I solved it was pretty much by including an image um, that pretty much has that gradient. And then I set the width to 60%, height to like 600. That just like I just played around with those values to see like what would make the most sense. And then I set the position to absolute, left 0. But then one thing that I realized is that like if I set top to 0, it doesn't actually go to the top of the image, and I don't really know why that is happening. Um, could be because the parent has this align items to center, but like that honestly doesn't really fix it, right? So I don't know, like align contents, like flex start, like let's see, like if this makes any difference. Um, justify content flex start, maybe that'll fix it. No, that doesn't fix it either. So basically, I gave up on that and I basically set this top to negative 120. Negative 120, I think that fixes it pretty much. Actually, no. 160 or something like that. Let's see. No, a little bit more. 165 maybe. All right, cool. So you can see the gradient is still like up there and it's like looking pretty good. Um, and the Olympus logo, we've got the bank logo, and we've got the Start Now button. That's pretty much it. Like that's pretty much like how the application looks. Obviously, my screen share doesn't look as good as this actually does. This looks way better in my opinion. So now this actually like this kind of way of coding has some problems. Honestly, I'm not a really big fan of. I'm okay with like inlining styles. I noticed that like most of these examples they don't inline the styles, but I don't know. My rationale is that it's pretty nice to actually be able to see like right on the component like where the styles are. Um, one could argue the kind of like the reusability aspect of it, and usually the way I make my code reusable is by creating components that also have inline styles, but at the same time they're basically like separate components themselves. For example, it is too much work, like too many lines of code to just have a button here, right? So like let's just try and export this button as like a simple button. So what I'm gonna do here, this is just like an example of refactoring. So let's go and do export const. Actually, I don't want to export it right now. We only export it whenever we need it. Olympus button. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if this is like that good of a name for it, but it's okay. Let's just go ahead and do it. So we take some props. Let's just do props, button props. And then over here, I want to just simply return this view. So let's just copy paste this whole thing and bring it down here. There we go. So now we have the image background, and then let's just put the Olympus button here, right? So if you notice, this is actually requiring a required title. So I'm gonna move this start now text here actually. So we're passing down this title prop, which means that we actually have to get to use it here. So I'm gonna do props.title, right? So let's save this, and go back to the application. And you can see that our button is here and it's working pretty well. I'm gonna try and touch it. Okay, so when you touch it, it actually just like gives you this kind of really weird kind of animation, but it's okay for now. So that is the Olympus button. Obviously, another thing that we want to pass in is the on click, right? So on press, and this is where we decide like what's happening. So let's just console.log this for now. Hello, right? And then over here, the view that actually takes that is this untouchable native feedback. So we basically do props.onPress. So now that we're passing it down here, that actually prints console.log hello into our console. And another thing is that a lot of these styles are not specific to the button. For example, if we are to kind of make an example here, so width, align items, border radius, position, and Like all of these ones make sense. Background color and paddings also make sense. I think what doesn't make sense to me is this position in the bottom part, right? So what I'm going to do is actually do props.style style as view style. So I'm guessing button by itself doesn't really have style. So let's just put this here. Yeah, button by itself doesn't really have style. So what I'm going to do is view. Let's put, I don't know, like unit it with style, which is of type view style. So that pretty much fixes that part. I don't even think I need to do this typecasting anymore. Yeah, that doesn't make any difference. So we have these default styles, and then on top of that, this style kind of comes in and takes over. So whatever style that I'm passing in will still be in effect there. So if we take a look at the application right now, you can see this. And just to show you that this is actually working, let's come down here and maybe comment this part out. And you can see that it actually moves up, right? So that is working. And another thing that I want to show that is currently working is this click event. So I'm going to try and tap on it. So you can see this hello is showing up, right? All right, pretty neat. So the next part of this is to pretty much navigate to the balances page, right? So let's take a look at this. The home balance page is where we're going next, where we're gonna have this kind of really cute button, break even after. I'm gonna say, oh, so I actually like have this part as like part of their mockup, but it's okay. Let's kind of implement this page. I don't really know if I'm gonna actually be able to put this kind of like own data. I have to like kind of take a look at some APIs out there to kind of see if I can actually have the price history of Olympus. So let's just not deal with that for now and just stick with this part, which is own wallet. And that's it. Own this looks pretty good. All right, cool. So next thing, I'm going to take a look at navigation. And we got to figure out how to do navigation in our React application.